Greetings and salutations, my friends. Welcome to another edition of Partners in Marriage, PIM podcast. I'm your host, Dr. J. It's a privilege and a pleasure to be able to come your way and talk with you every opportunity we get about something to do with marriage. I'm enjoying mine. I hope you're enjoying yours. I'm learning every single opportunity we get. As a matter of fact, at this point, my wife and I just celebrated 50 years of marriage, our golden anniversary. So when you get that many years in, I mean, we've been married twice as long as we were single. So when you get to that point in your life, you've got to you got to do something right. I got a great spouse. I love that lady. She's an incredible gift to me, and I hope I'm helping her. She says so, but that's what we have to do, is work together in our relationships. Now, what I started with you the last time was communicate, and communicate. You can't get past that. You've got to keep it going. And the greatest thing about communication is you talk what you communicate, and you communicate what you're talking. And how to do that is have the best example. Look, there's nobody I know of better at communicating than Jesus. When you read the Word of God, you have to understand that you talk about communicating. Oh, man. He knew how to do it. And he could do it with people who just didn't like him, period. But that didn't matter, because there was something, he knew who to talk to based on how the person confronted him. And there's some keys to communicating. Here's what I'm talking about. First, it says in several scriptures, Jesus looked on him or her or them. He looked on them. To communicate, first, you got to see what's going on. You can't communicate if your eyes are closed to the truth or what the needs are or what the person's trying to communicate. We hear this all the time from Stephen Covey. You got to learn how to understand what the other person is saying before you're seeking to be understood yourself. So Jesus looked on them. He was not coming up trying to impress them with his ability to articulate. He looked on them. He could see what was happening where other people could not see. Before you start talking, look on your spouse. Look on them. Then we see several times it will say, and Jesus had compassion on them. Wow. Look at this. You're not filled with yourself. You're not filled up with yourself. You are really looking at your spouse with compassion. Somebody, and to have compassion, you have to think about nobody's perfect. Yes, I know your weakness, but I know you're here sincerely. I know you don't quite get what I'm saying, but I want to listen to you with my heart. I want to hear the very soul of who you are, and that's important. And he had compassion, and then we see he loved on them. There was specifically the rich young ruler. I never forget that story as people talk about his ability to articulate what he had done as a young man. Then it says Jesus looked on him and loved on him. I mean, he poured love on this young man. It has to be tough to walk away from Jesus or anybody when they pour love on you. If you look on your spouse and you see that that's a person you care about, you have compassion. You think about the many times they sacrificed for you. They stood by you. They comforted you. They had words to encourage you. And then you love on them. I mean, the love is being felt from you. Before you say anything at all, these three things have already been put forth, emulated, felt, demonstrated in the relationship. He looked on them. He had compassion. He loved them. And then he spoke to them. You see, that's what communicating is. If we truly get it, we're not trying to get the person to understand what I want them to understand. Hear what I got to say. And when you are the person who always initiate the conversation, you're the one that's got it going all the time, talking, showing, giving examples. You're the one that's going at it. Stop. Tell you like they told us back during the days, little children, when you come to a railroad crossing, stop, look, and listen. Stop. Stop talking. Stop talking. Look at him. Look at her. Listen to her. Because as we learn, I'm telling you, sometime in the tunnel, you see a light. It may not be what you think it is. You don't want to be in a position where you're talking, and what you're doing is you're driving your spouse away, or you're driving your spouse, a wedge between you and your spouse. That is not what you want. So if you're the one that's talking, what you need to do is look at the situation, determine if I need to just hold off a minute and not be the one you just going after it. Do it like Jesus did. Take a moment. Think about this. Take a moment. Look at them. Look at this woman. Look at this man. Have compassion. Think about what they did to help get us to this point. And make sure that you become the person who does not major in minors and minor in the majors. Please pay attention to where you're putting your energy and your activities, because communicating is not allowing other people real estate in your head. Yeah, that's right. Sometimes you'll go off and tell other people what you're going through, and they start off saying, if I were you. Please be careful, my friend, who you allow to have real estate in your mind, because sometimes they'll give you a movie that has nothing to do with the actors in this play. And when they start to go off with their information, they'll pump you up, and you'll leave there saying things and doing things. And by the time you finish, the spouse that was quiet has done something. What have they done? Well, they probably have taken this place of this volcano that they have been packing down, not saying anything at all. And now they're ready to blow up, go out. You may not see them anymore. They're ready to leave. And you don't want that. So communicate. Again, what you want to do like Jesus did. Look on them. Have compassion on them. Love on them. And then speak to them. Hey guys, remember, a happy marriage is not a destination. It is a journey of love.